Yeah, so that is definitely something that is going on with the allergies. So Melissa and I are actually doing a continuation um, of our show from Saturday because it was such a great show and we had a couple callers and it was good. So yep. So we're going to continue on with that. And if you have any calls tonight, George, you can reach George and he will get you over to us, 781-837-4900. So we hope that if you have any questions that you'll call us. Like I said, we had two great callers. One person was actually on the zoning board, I think he was, or the planning board in Hanson. And we are going to be inviting him to our show this Saturday. I might have to postpone it a little bit, but we will see. Yeah, I probably will have to postpone it just a week because I want some people from affordable housing to be there. So Melissa is getting us all set up on Facebook. So if you listen to us on Facebook generally, she will be up and ready to go in about 30 seconds. And so our topic was last week, we were discussing standing out in a fatigued real estate market. And we want to just do a little bit of a recap of some of the things that we discussed. So in our first segment, we actually discussed, I'm going to back up for a second. I'm going to do a little bit of just commentary type stuff. One, I wanted to say congratulations to the Public Safety Building committee and to all of our first responders in Pembroke. So it did pass the ballot on Saturday. So we will be building a new building. So congratulations to everybody who worked so hard on that. And then the other thing I wanted to announce is tonight over at Bluestone Bank, which is right next door to us on Mattakesett Street in Pembroke Center, they are having the Pembroke Chamber of Commerce meeting tonight. So you can, after hours, if you have a business in town or another surrounding town and you feel like you would like to be part of the Pembroke Chamber of Commerce, we invite you to go to that. Unfortunately, Mel, it stinks because these things are on Tuesday nights and we're here.
I know. And it's literally right next door to us.
I know. And they're having catered food tonight. And I thought, oh, that will be great. We'll go over there. We'll grab a bite to eat and then come back and get the show. And I was like, there's no way we're going to make it.
No.
But yes, you are welcome to go over there and bring a bunch of business cards with you, whether you're from Pembroke or from another town. You should do that because we all want to be working in collaboration with each other. So that's just sort of my little PR things. I have one at the end that I will discuss too. So, but I do want to get back to what we were talking about the other day on Saturday. It was standing out in a fatigued real estate market. And we were talking about, understanding, the current real estate market. No surprise, we still have low inventory. We sort of really got into it too. So you can listen to our show from Saturday. You can listen to it on our podcast, which is Talk Real Estate Roundtable. So you can go to any of the podcast apps and you can listen to it there. We're on Apple and Spotify and all of those. So you can find our podcast on that. And we were just talking about, why do we feel we have low inventory? Are there ways to sort of change that? I think the lock-in effect has a big portion of why we don't. So the lock-in effect is there are 70% of homeowners right now that have a mortgage in the United States that have a mortgage of 4% or lower. So for them, it does not make sense to sell their current home and move to another home because even doing a lateral move with a higher interest rate, you would potentially be paying the same. So I think that's a big portion of it. And I also think affordability is a huge problem we have, especially with our older boomers and, boomers in general, that they can't find a place even after they sell. If they sell their house, where are they going to go? So we're seeing a lot of multi-generational living. And that's what prompted, I forget his name, the gentleman, I think it was Joe in Hanson to contact us about, what they're doing in the town of Hanson, which I think is great. They're doing and allowing separate accessory apartments on properties. So I can't wait to hear more about that. And I actually sit on the master plan committee for the town of Pembroke, and I was part of a small group today that was asked questions and about asking, what was it? Is everything okay?
Yep. Just
okay.
Not shared
Okay. So I was asked a bunch of questions about real estate, and the affordability for our seniors actually came up. So something that we are thinking about, not even just for Pembroke, but for all of the South Shore. And the second segment we talked about is the emotional impact on buyer fatigue. And Melissa did such a great job on that segment because she is in the process of this whole escapade that we call real estate right now, right? Do you want to rehash it? No?
Yeah, I mean, I even saw a house after we did the show on Saturday, and I didn't even finish going through it. It was just not.
Was it because, I mean, because we also.
It was advertised at a great price, great price point. But it wasn't advertised as a house that you can't live in full time all year round.
It didn't have heat?
Yeah, part of the house did not have heat. So I'm just like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, it was very much like a summer home. So
bring blankets.
It's a no from me. Yeah, I need a house that I can live all year round. I can't just move right back in with Mary and Sam when it's winter time.
Yeah, you're not a snowbird, so maybe that house would be good for a snowbird. But certainly, it should have been disclosed that the entire property doesn't have heat.
No, it's not the entire property. Part of the property did not have heat.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But if it didn't have heat in the entire property, that's part of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we'll get into sort of some of the things that should be professionally done when you put in a property in MLS and market it to people, because we'll get to it, but sort of a sneak peek is I've gotten a couple phone calls, and I know you have, and we've had to reach out to people. I've had to reach out to people just of, like, what are you doing? That's just sort of what I want to say is like, what are you doing? I don't think that there are some people who are representing their clients to the best ability. And that's just me being.
And you know what? And I sort of said that I did say that on our show on Saturday, that I just feel that there is 100% not a seller that fully understands the consequences of allowing a 1 hour open house. So no showings. You're on the market for 5 days, no showings until the open house from 3 to 4 in the afternoon on a Saturday, and no other showings. And all offers are due by like Sunday or something. I just find it's irresponsible from what I feel. That again, every agent does everything differently, and what their spin is on that. I would love to hear from agents on why they think that that's a good idea. And we see it over and over and over. And I know that there was a time when we even would say, all right, we're not going to allow showings until the open house. And that was during COVID that we did that, because the sellers had to leave and there was no place for them to go because we were all in lockdown. So we had to let 10 people in the house at a time, but we're past those days, right? So, I mean, can't you even go into doctor's offices now without masks? Nurses and stuff don't have to wear them.
I don't know. We talked about this earlier that I don't go to the doctors.
I know. Well, you need to do that.
But yeah, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I received a text from one of our agents who sent me one of the pictures from MLS, and it's, the pictures that are put in MLS are supposed to be of the home. Well, this picture was a picture of a turkey.
Yeah.
A turkey.
A turkey.
Okay, well, does that turkey come with the home? Is
Maybe
it
it's
excluded? It's just a single solitary turkey in the backyard. I'm assuming, because it was just a picture of a turkey, so I'm not quite sure what that was about. Like, it's just
on my desktop, I have a file that's called my holy poop file, and when agents send us those types of things, we put them in there. So we're going to be talking about some of that. So just recapping, segment 3 that we did last on Saturday was, different strategies that we gave to stand out in a competitive market. So we had some really good tips for that, how to make your offer compelling. And then segment 4 was creative approaches to differentiate your offer, which is really important. And having a buyer's agent that represents you fully and understands what the directions are and the rules are. Like, if somebody puts, this is what I want my offer package to look like, this is what the ideal offer would look like, then I think as a buyer's agent, you should be following those instructions. And again, if you disagree with anything we're saying, feel free to give us a call. If you agree with us too, though, call us 781-837-4900, and George will pipe you right over. segment 5, we were doing, so this is what we're going to be talking about tonight is the Don't Do This Seller Edition. And we're also begin to talk about creating a fair playing field for home buyers.
Mhm.
So we're going to talk about that. That's like a conversation to our sellers. And we'll just highlight some steps that sellers can take to make sure that they are, one, getting the best offers. And that isn't always price, by the way. Some people might disagree, but I think that sometimes it isn't price, it's terms and conditions.
Well, just to expand on that, it's not just about price, because at the end of the day, you have to, if the buyer is going for a mortgage, you have to also sell the property to the bank. So if the house is not worth X amount of dollars, they're not going to give you X amount of dollars to buy it.
Yep.
You know, so it's not always about price, because sometimes people do just throw out unrealistic numbers, and we know it's not going to appraise for that. And if you don't have the money to come up with the difference, then why are we even playing that game? Give me better terms. I think I'm not in a good mood.
I think you're very, very heated about this.
I think I'm heated because I'm feeling the fatigue myself. And I'm like, it just frustrates me. I'm in my frustrated sort of stage.
Yes. Okay. So let's talk about this. So if you are thinking about selling your home, or if you are selling your home and you have some ideas about how you think that should look, or if you think that you maybe agree or disagree with any of our comments, please give us a call. We had some great callers on Saturday, so that's a lot of fun when we get our callers. So the first part we're going to talk about is Don't Do This, the Seller Edition. So you want to talk about the first one, because you were just sort of highlighting that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I sat in with you on a meeting yesterday with potential clients
who listen to us. We like them a lot.
Yes, we do. And you were talking about, you can never underprice a home. You can overprice it. You can only overprice it, excuse me. It's true, because I even just saw this. I've been tracking this house that was over 400. So I think it started at like 420 or 425, and didn't get any offers, but sort of came down in price a little bit and went to like 399, and they ended up getting over.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's because you're missing, there's a lot of people, and I'm saying this from experience because I am a buyer in this market. There are buyers that are looking under their budget, not at the top of their budget. Like, I'm not even looking at houses that are at the top of my budget, because I feel like they're going to go over. So I'm giving myself a cushion to be able to go over.
Think about that we're in this position right now where we have to actually look at houses less than what we can afford, so we can overbid on it, emotionally bid on a house.
Yeah. And honestly, like it might get to the point where some buyers are like, I'm out. Like, at this point, I'll rent for a year, or I'll move in with somebody for a year to pay less.
Are you moving in with me?
No, you just looked at me so disappointed. No, but I was, as somebody did offer me to move in with them yesterday. The same client, did I make that up? Somebody I saw yesterday.
Oh yeah. What's them? It was our clients. Yeah. They have your room. Yeah, they'd let you in. They really love you.
No, I have a lot of people on my side and on my team and stuff like that, but this is just the reality. Like, I know that we always say, like, there's always a buyer for a home, but at some point buyers are going to get exhausted from this, and they're not going to offer everything.
And I feel like the people who are buying right now, like, they have to buy. I mean, you are in such a very good position, in all honesty, because yes, you live in Mary and Sam's home. They're getting married in June, but they're not kicking you out.
Yeah.
You're not, in a situation where the landlord is selling the 2-family or whatever, and you have to get out, so you're in a really good position, especially it's giving you time to save even more. So when you are ready to make that offer, you'll look even stronger. Right. So I think overpricing the house, that is a big part of what I discuss when I am sitting with people. I bring them directly into MLS so they can see. And it's so funny because the past is generally a very good predictor of the future. And I've been selling real estate for over 20 years. And I see when people do that they'll just, let's test the market. Let's make sure we're getting every dollar. And like you said, if it's overpriced, people know. So it's so different than it was when I first got into the business because we didn't have the internet the way we have it.
Yeah.
Think about that. I mean, in 2009 is when I started like Facebook community groups. Like they didn't exist really beforehand. No one really knew what it was. That wasn't too long ago, but think about it.
I was just laughing because everyone knows that I went to Las Vegas last week, and I went with my friend, and she's a little bit older than I am. And she was asking me, she's like, "What is MySpace?" And so I was like telling her what MySpace was. And I was like, wow, I feel so old and I'm only 32.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't think that I ever used MySpace. I remember it being out and stuff, and AOL, that like, that chat
Can't
thing.
get on the phone. Yeah. You can't get on the phone when you're on the internet.
Oh yeah. We go,
Get off the phone.
And then like, you would connect.
Dial up.
Yeah. But back then, buyers didn't have the tools and the technology that we have today. So right now you can stand, if you have the open house, not the open house app, the what is it called? HomeSnap. HomeSnap is a great app to use. If anybody needs a link to that, just reach out to us. We can get that to you. But you can stand in front of a house. It geolocates you. It will tell you what every house in the neighborhood is sold for.
Well, and this is just sort of a plug to always work with a professional realtor, is when you're on these third-party sites, or if you're right in front of somebody's home and it's on the market and you're trying to find out information, you don't know who you're getting on the other end. It could be the listing agent. It could be somebody who has no idea anything about anything. Somebody brand new, someone who doesn't, adapt to technology, nothing.
Yeah.
You have no idea. But if you are working with a realtor, like they already know about this property.
That's your lifeline.
That's your lifeline. So go for them.
And too, it's, the buyer's agent's job is, the fiduciary responsibility is to you as a client. And I think people have a misinterpretation that they have to pay for your services. And that is not how that all works. Like you don't have to pay for the services. It's all sort of taken care of through, the listing agent actually compensates us as a buyer's agent. So that's how that's all taken care of. What about home staging? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we've done several shows on staging. I mean, we're big into rearranging the things that are already in the home, not so huge on bringing things into the house. I think every home is different. A vacant home shows differently than a home that has furniture that might not fit well, but I feel like you've done a really great job over the past 20 years of being like able to gently tell people, okay, well, maybe if we rearrange this or bring up the carpets or something. Like, I'm a big advocate on people not having to spend extra money that they don't need to. So, just sort of using what you already have. And again, the conversation that we had with a client yesterday, the fact that, we were talking about a different property that was on the market and it was staged and it wasn't any of their furniture or anything, but these people are still living in the home. So I'm just like, I would be curious to see what their furniture was beforehand. But again, beautiful
and I feel
home,
like in
so
a
I
market
can't imagine.
like this, in a market like this, the house is going to sell regardless. I mean, you could have, milk crates in there and the house is still going to sell.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, there's a buyer for everything. So, I mean, I don't think anybody right now is going into a property and being like, oof, did you see the couch that they have in that room?
I think
their linens are like, come on.
Yeah, serious buyers, I think, are looking past all that, especially if they're working with a real estate agent, because I don't see any of that. Like, I mean, yes, it's nicely decorated and all that, but
wouldn't you rather know that the chimney is pulling away from the house?
Or if there looks like there's evidence of water in the basement, or if,
wouldn't you rather know those things?
Yeah. And if I'm moving like a carpet in front of your kitchen sink because you probably, maybe something spilled or burned
And
there.
again, these are things. So like, I go to a lot of open houses of our agents, and I've been to yours, and recently, it's, no one knows who I am, but everyone, like, I usually wear like even that day when I went to go visit you, the last time I was wearing a Boston Connect sweatshirt. So like, I'm not hiding, but I'm hiding in plain sight because people talk. They just talk. And I'm listening. And, I'm walking around doing my due diligence as, not just as a buyer, but as the manager, and, doing the marketing for the company. And, it just people keep you talking.
Yeah. So restrictive showing schedule. This is one that I think that a lot of our agents right now are having frustrations with. And it's really something that I cannot comprehend. I cannot wrap my mind around what is the benefit of this.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't.
I was frustrated before I was looking personally, and now I'm even more frustrated. And for example, this property that I looked on Saturday. Was it a waste of my time? I hate to say it was a waste of my time because I want to see as much as I can, but the fact that it was on a dead end street that you can't get two cars past each other, and it was a packed open house because there was no showings beforehand. Like, you got to know your area.
Yeah, I know.
There's other people that live on that street.
It's just, and to me, it just, like I said, I cannot understand it. Is it more about like getting the energy up and trying to get that, like, oh, look, something new, and like having the creating that sort of frenzy of all those people there? You're going to have that anyways.
Yeah. Well, I saw a house that came on the market this week, and I think it came on yesterday, and there's no showings until this weekend. I'm like, it's a Monday. And there's no showings until Saturday?
Yeah.
Why?
It doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense.
So again, if anybody is listening, and I know a lot of real estate agents listen as well, so please give us some insight. Like, why does this help a seller? If you could just let us know, that would be great. 781-837-4900.
Maybe it's the seller saying that they don't want any showings, and that's fine, but you're selling your house, and don't you want don't you want people to see it?
Well, you can't sell it unless you let people see it. And you're going to have, the more people you have see it, the more opportunity you have for more offers. And I just think that holding off just doesn't make any sense to me. So again, I don't understand it. I don't claim to know everything about real estate. So if people want to fill us in, they can. But I want to let people know how I do it. And our agents are all independent contractors, so they can all choose to do, how they promote their own listings is really up to them within, the boundaries of, laws and things like that we put in place, fair housing and everything. But so for us, a good example is next week, I'm going to be listing a home in Pembroke. It's a small ranch, 3 bedrooms. You saw it, new septic system. They've, painted everything, did a lot of great things inside the house, new appliances and stuff, painted all the cabinets and everything. So our plan is, yesterday they actually had the tub glazed. So that happened yesterday. The cleaner is coming tomorrow to do a deep clean. So they'll be like, dusting all the walls, cleaning all the walls, all that type of like sawdusty stuff that ends up everywhere, doing all the windows, doing all that. Then, on Friday, the photographer is coming. And then next week we'll get our pictures back, probably Monday, Tuesday. And then we'll come on the market Wednesday. We're also going to have I'm going to reach out to the landscaper, see if he can go over there, give it one quick cleaning before we, allow showings, have the showings. That's the other thing too. Sometimes people don't have the showings right away because the house isn't ready, but if the house is ready, you should. So then what we'll do is we'll have showings Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm going to do the open house on Saturday. That will allow agents to go back and have a second showing if they choose on Sunday or Monday because it's a holiday.
Yeah. Well, I think it's super important because like people aren't going to be able to go to town hall or anything or do their due diligence on Monday because a lot of places are going to be closed. So if you see it Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, you can literally go from the house to wherever you need to go to get that information.
Exactly. And then the people who come to the open house on Saturday, they will have the opportunity to go to, because we'll make all offers due by Tuesday, and they'll have the opportunity by 5. They'll have the opportunity to, and again, I don't want anyone to feel rushed. So they have the opportunity to go to town hall and do their due diligence or do whatever they want to do. Right. And then all offers will be due by Tuesday. And then we will discuss them with the sellers on Wednesday. So that gives people plenty of time to get into the home. We just did this in Abington 2 weeks ago, and we ended up with 57 groups of people that came to the open house, which was about 125 people. And we had over 25 showings in between all that. Imagine if we had everybody there all at the same time. Who's talking?
I just realized that I haven't been watching our Facebook video, and there's some people. Who's Jennifer Thomas Height? Hi. She goes,
Hi.
you've reached your BS level, not bad mood. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Oh, and Jasmine Glasgow says, what is with all the Sunday deadlines? Question mark. That is so true. Somebody told me last week that that all offered, like, they were only able to see the property for a day, and then all offers were due on Sunday.
Yeah. And you know what, Jennifer or Jasmine, if you want to call into the studio and, talk a little bit more about this, but Jasmine, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this too, as a loan officer. What does that do to you? 781-837-4900 is the studio phone number, because this is the other thing too, is you want to be able to, be in touch with your loan officer and get like the most updated pre-approval.
And speaking of my loan officer, Jasmine also said, I've seen several homes come back on the market because the open house window was so short and packed that they couldn't thoroughly see it.
You can't even get into it.
Yeah, I actually have seen a couple come on the market. Come back on the market.
1 hour open house from 3 to 4 on a Saturday afternoon. So we were talking about Kristen Howlett, who's a full-time real estate agent here at Boston Connect Real Estate, and she is the best of the best, and she services all over. And she said, like, this is so frustrating. My client is working. She can't be there on Saturday from 3 to 4. So how is this a fair playing ground for all buyers?
Yeah, I know.
Are we talking to ourselves? No one's calling. George, do you understand our frustration?
We have people calling.
Okay.
I just told you. No, I mean, it's wild. I mean, take me for instance. Literally, I have a text from someone. Oh, do you want to meet us here tonight? No, I have the radio show. Oh, do you want to come over Friday night and watch the Celtics game? No, I'm working. Like, I'm a busy person. Okay, so if you give me 1 hour to see a property, come on.
Mm-hmm. And again, I think it only benefits. Now, I went through this scenario when I sit down with all my sellers, I discuss it. When I'm sitting down with all my buyer clients, I'm discussing the process with them as well. And like, what does an ideal offer look like? And when I sat with our sellers the other day, they're probably, or maybe listening right now, and we say hello to you. We won't use your name just for confidentiality reasons. But, we reached out, one of the things that I discussed this with her about giving people the ability to go in and see the house. And it made perfect sense to them as well.
Yeah, I am at my BS level. I am. You are totally right. Yeah, I think, again, just to go back to the overpricing a home, you can definitely overprice a home. You can't underprice it. I really do feel like when you're on the cusp, like people are looking in intervals of 25,000 or 50,000, so they can have that cushion to go over if they need to. So, if you're on the cusp, and I'm saying this as a listing agent or a seller, like if you're on the cusp of like two very different price points, $399 and $400 are very different price points. I'm telling you this, that, if you go to $399, how many times have we seen this? It goes over. If you go to $4, it doesn't. Like, why? It's just.
And I give that as examples all the time. And like I said, the past is a very good predictor of the future. So, I've seen it happen over and over. And, one of the things I loved about the people that we met the other day, and I loved that they felt as if they knew us through this, through the sound waves here, Hey,
Sharon.
Yes.
We have a caller.
Oh, great.
Is it Jasmine?
It is Jasmine. Yes.
Jasmine. I love you, Jasmine.
Jasmine, thanks for joining us.
So speaking of my loan officer.
Yeah, speaking of our loan officer.
It's Jasmine.
Yes. So Jasmine, tell us, so first of all, introduce yourself to all of our listeners. Tell them who you are and what you do.
I am Jasmine Glasgow, and I professionally stalk Boston Connect and also run Maritime Mortgage.
Yes, absolutely. I wish that you had just like your own little office in here, and I'm going to train you to be taking over the show for us when we can't do it. So you can have your own little show here during our time. But so to explain to us, so you're working with all of these people who are getting their pre-approval letter. They're doing their due diligence. They're, maybe it's people who had, maybe some credit issues. You've helped them through that process. They're now ready. Tell us how your buyers are feeling. Is it only first-time home buyers, or is it everybody?
Oh, it is everybody. And it's crazy because a lot of the times people are waiting till like the end of the week. I mean, remember, you're dealing with your own life and then you're doing this, right? So you're getting documents and you can. Some people are like, all right, I just need to get it done by Friday so I can go to homes over the weekend. And so some people just get their pre-approval, kind of get their budget ready by Friday. And then they're stopping Saturday and Sunday and looking at these homes. And when these windows are so short and it's so packed and they start feeling, first of all, pressure from other people, pressure from their agents often. And it's not always negative pressure, but pressure under, any circumstance is going to heighten the emotion. And so they're already charged. They're already kind of dealing with like I just might have gotten pre-approved in the most recent couple of weeks. And sometimes it works out well for people. They don't have the fatigue and they can go in strong. And other people are like, hey, this is my first house. Let me see what the experience is like. And they're kind of coming in the middle of the path. And then they're like, okay, well, you were one of 20 offers. You had to come up this much. And they're like, well, I'm new to this. You have that experience. And then you have the people who are selling and buying. And they're like, okay, well, I need to know what my home is selling for to be able to do that. And they're kind of juggling. And when this is happening in 1 or 2 hour windows over the weekend, and the Sunday deadlines are killing me. I can't tell you how many people are like, well, I don't know this, this, and this. And so I'm on the public records. And I'm like, I am not a real estate attorney. I am not a professional, a zoning professional, but this is what I see. And we're doing this Sunday afternoon. Meanwhile, my husband and son are like, hi, could I borrow you?
Do you remember us?
Exactly. And so it's so heightened and it just feels like 2021 again. And it can be so discouraging for people.
Yeah, thanks.
And I saw that home you were talking about with the most of the 3 season space. And I got a bunch of inquiries about renovation financing for that same property. And, when agents are pitting clients against each other, like I called one agent for one of my clients, and it's funny because our mutual client got the offer, but I called and they were like, they're talking about this, this, and this. I was like, no, that's what? I was just like, you must be looking at the wrong pre-approval. And they're like, they said the other name. I was like, I'm calling about a different client. And they were like, hold on, let me go through the stack here. All right, we have 4 of your pre-approvals. So where do you want to start?
How do you handle that too? That must be a difficult place for you to be. I mean, obviously you have the fiduciary responsibility to each one of your clients separately as well, but do they know when you're working with with other people that are going for the same house?
I do not let people know that. Nope, I do not let the clients because I'm not creating a bidding war against my clients.
Yeah.
And even if the agent's like, we really want to work together, so one of your clients is most likely can get it. And I'm like, they will bid what they're comfortable bidding and what their agent advises them based on the comparables. I am not a realtor. And I'm going to say it again, I am not a realtor. I have no idea what you guys are doing in the magic box that creates these offer numbers or these type of terms and whatnot. Like, I don't know what happens on the other side of the curtain, so I don't go to that side of the curtain. I wait for I'll talk to them and I'll clear out their max comfortable payment and where they're feeling, and I'll guide them. And if their agent's thinking, okay, this is where it's worth and that's where they're at, I'm not going to be like, well, hey, my other client's offering this. All that's going to do is push people outside of their comfort zone, and also means that my other clients can't trust me if I'm pushing, information about them to another client. So absolutely. I keep it very separate. I stay in my own lane, and I let them come to me with the questions, and I give them the answers.
Yeah. And it is like,
but
you
it's
said,
hard.
It's so difficult with these Sunday, first of all, who even thought of being on the market for 5 days and then open house from 3 to 4 on a Saturday afternoon and offers are due on Sunday? I mean, I've just never heard of anything so absurd. I can't even help me, please, Jasmine, see the other side of this. And I know that Jennifer is, she's from, you'll probably know her, Jasmine, because she is also on Clubhouse a lot. She is originally from Boston, but she's living in Ohio now. And I would love to hear her perspective too. And if she's seeing the same thing where she is, but I can't even understand why that would be a good idea.
You know what? It's super popular on the North Shore, and some of the North Shore agents I work with, they're like, this is how we do it here. And I don't know if it's maybe kind of like a geographical thing where it's like, this is how we've always done it, and we have some different agents being translated into the South Shore, and we're seeing more of it because of that. but it's always been a North Shore thing. Like I've
What,
kind
do
of
they have a
always seen
full-time
it.
job during the week and they can't,
I
you know,
know.
do real estate? They got to get it done on the weekends. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, and it's usually it comes on Thursday and Friday it's posted. Saturday's the open house. They'll have another Sunday, and at 8 p.m. on the Sunday, it's offers are due. If not, maybe 10 a.m. on Monday, which still is one business hour. But at the same time, that often works really well for me because I'm on 24/7 pretty much. So I make that call. And I can't tell you the efficiency of calling on a Sunday to an agent that's not expecting it and being like, this is how we're going to perform the whole time. And I can't tell you how many deals I've got my clients in the last 2 months. Just being like, okay, we're going to move ahead. Because like you said, it's not always price. Sometimes it's confidence in getting the loan done, like getting the transaction completed and all the other terms. And so sometimes I'll call and they'll be like, we're really looking for a 3-week close. I'm like, all right, well, let's do that then. They're like, you're saying we can do that? Yep. That's what I'm talking about. It's not just price. Mm-hmm. And on that one, it wasn't just price. That wasn't even the best and highest. It was the best.
Yep.
And so it's kind of a combination of some people have always done it this way, and I think they are continuing to do it. And there's some laziness. There's some agents I know who are just like,
thank you for saying it because that's what I'm thinking. It's because it's easier to just have no showings, not following up with agents, not only having one open house for 1 hour.
Oh yeah. And then other times it's busyness. Some agents have a ton of listings and they don't have the capacity to keep them organized and kind of sort the offers too. So if they have 2 days of showings in these small blocks and then they've got, an offer deadline of this time, and then they have a 3-hour highest and best window. They've consolidated this whole sale price, this whole experience for the seller to 6 hours. And there is also a good look. Some sellers being sold that, like, we are going to get this house on the market and sold in 3 days. This is going to require you to be out of your house for a total of 4 hours. I'm going to need you to make a decision after 1 hour of review with me, and then you're going to have a 3-hour wait period. You have 1 more hour review with me, and we are done. 8 hours, I sold your home. How good does that look?
Well, perfect, right? So you are literally hitting the nail on the head for me right now, because that's exactly what I think is being told and why I am on this radio show, giving people my how I feel things are, a different way from that is because I don't think that the seller knows any different. So when your agent comes in, and maybe it's someone that you trust, maybe it's somebody that you're working for a long time. I'm not saying they're not bad agents, but I'm not 100% sure that they're getting the perspective. Like, are you on the island or are you on the ship?
Mm-hmm. I just got a text message, excuse me, from Ginny Wandell. She's a full-time realtor here at Boston Connect Real Estate. She said, great show. My 2 cents are keep calm and trust your realtor. We do this full time and it's our pleasure to navigate and give you the best path to home ownership.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
she's to work with a professional.
Mm-hmm. And navigating, it's, what we were talking on Saturday, we had a full show on this, and it was, buyer fatigue. We're seeing it again. And it's also buyer agent fatigue, because you feel so bad when you have to call your client one more time and say, hey, I'm sorry. And one of the things that I do, and it takes a long time to do this. So we had a house in Abington a few weeks ago, whatever it was, a couple weeks ago, and we ended up with 20 offers. And, I went through everything with them, my whole spreadsheet. They decided on what was best for them. P.S. It was not the highest offer. It was the best highest price offer, best terms and conditions for them. And I called every single one of those agents back and I said, hey, I don't know if you have any time, but I just wanted to let you know, unfortunately, they didn't go with your offer, but I just want to give you a little insight. This is the reason why. I mean, if your client, your client wasn't putting much money down, maybe if they had more money, it would have been considered, or the loan to value seemed really off to us. So we were concerned about appraisal. Just giving them little tidbits. I have to tell you, 19 agents, if I got voicemail, so they sent me a text. If they were talking to me, they were like, Sharon, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Because I'm feeling for the buyers. My job as a listing agent is to get the most amount of money with the best terms and conditions for my client, period, amen. But when I'm looking at these buyers, I think it's also the responsibility, and maybe it's my moral compass, to make this a fair playing ground for the buyers as well. And it will only benefit the sellers. There, bam,
bam,
bam. And she dropped the mic. Did we lose Jasmine? Jasmine's like, Sharon was just screaming. in
No,
my ear.
no. I was making a hard time not making sound effects for you. But
Yeah.
it's spot on. And
Bam.
I think Jimmy made a good point. You have to trust the agent. Your loan officer is going to help you with the loan side of it. But I can't tell you how many times I have to say, I'm not an agent. I can't tell you what to offer on this house. And when you're going to the for sale by owner, if you're going to go and try to navigate around an agent, you're losing so much of that guidance that your loan officer can't, or really not even can't. I could. I've been doing this long enough. I shouldn't. I'm not licensed for it, and I don't do it full time.
Mhm.
I dabble in it part time and for my own real estate purchases just 2 times in my life. That's it. So I shouldn't be doing it. You guys do this 60, 80 hours a week, and you get all that experience and that guidance and having an agent. I don't buy real estate without agents.
Mhm.
I don't do it.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't
why
either.
would you trust someone else, right?
No, if I went to Ohio, I
important.
would be calling Jennifer. If I went to Atlanta, Georgia, I'd be calling Michelle. So we only have 4 minutes left here. So you know how the time goes by so fast. So Jasmine, I have a question for you. So I need 2 different answers. If you were going to give a seller advice on what they should be looking at when they are looking at a pre-approval letter, what would you tell them? And the second question is, if you were working with a buyer, what is the best advice that you could give them in this market? And you literally have 2 minutes not even 2 minutes to tell us that answer.
Okay, easy enough. So for a seller, you need to call, and it doesn't even matter what the letter says. You need to call and you need to verify that they've done the job, that it's not a pre-qual based on information provided, but you've seen credit, income, assets, and when's the last time you've updated the pre-approval? When's the last time you've looked at the income? And when's the last time you've looked at the interest rate? If the loan officer will not answer after 2 calls, right? And I don't mean back-to-back, 2 minutes apart. And if you are not getting any responsiveness from that, you're probably not working with someone who is full time. And if you are getting answers like this is what they filled in, that's not enough. So you need to make sure that the work has been done up front. So that's as a seller.
Yep.
As a buyer, I like to say go to your comfort level, figure that out before you go see the property, do all of your due diligence, and don't disrespect the seller. It doesn't matter if you feel like the house is overpriced. This is the market that you're in. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get it if you don't put your best foot forward. And don't sit there on cameras being disrespectful. Don't don't talk about
That's
the price while you're out
on
there.
Saturday, maybe. Yeah. So our music is playing already. So Jasmine, I want to give you 30 seconds. Give everybody your phone number if you want to speak with Jasmine Glasgow of Maritime Mortgage. Her phone number is
774-240-4667.
All right, everybody, you've listened to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. You can reach us at bostonconnect.com or at 781-826-8000. Bye, everybody. So that show went by quick. Bye, Jasmine. Bye, Jennifer.
If you'd like to make a call, please hang up and try again. If you need help, hang up and